excited for you. I was actually just sharing this with our team that, the thoughts that you have inside your head that maybe I need to have more credentials, or maybe I need to be a better writer. That was one of mine. Maybe I need to be a better writer to be able to become a great author. Anybody have anything like that? Right? There's a book in you that you still haven't put out yet. Anybody have that? Just put me in the chat if that's you. Yes. Thank you, Tracy, not leaving me hanging. I appreciate you. Tiffany, okay, you guys are waking up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, so then there's these other thoughts that, is my business ever going to come together? Anybody have that? Anybody have that one? Oh, I hate that one. That one drives me nuts because it's like, it gets you, right? You have these moments where you feel like, wow, I think it's coming together. I feel things coming together. And then you look at your freaking bank account, you're like, yeah, somebody's stealing from me at the bank because I'm pretty sure that I'm doing better than that because I've worked so freaking hard and I should have more. And then there's some of you guys in here that you're blessed. You're blessed. Everybody tells you you're blessed because everything comes together for you, right? It's you've got the Midas touch. You married the right person. You got perfect kids and you got a full bank account. And everybody thinks you're insane because you're lucky. But the truth is that you've met the right mentors that have taken you across the bridge, right? There's a bunch of people who are out there seeking, and then eventually you stop seeking and you know your identity, you know who you are, you know exactly what you were put on this earth to do. And by the way, that keeps evolving as you go through different seasons. Who I was as a single woman is different as who I am as a married woman, different from who I am as a mother. Your interests changes and your purpose changes. And so your message has to change. I'm gonna have a really close friend of mine join me in a second. And I hired her for all you guys who have hired a coach before and you've left them because you didn't actually do the work yet. Anybody out there yet? Come on, let's be honest. Have you ever hired a coach and you left because either you blamed the coach that somehow they're responsible because they didn't coach you the way you needed to be coached or loved, or their program, you got lost in it, or whatever. Okay, so I love that you guys are honest. Okay, so I was with this coach for 3 years before I ever used her for what I intended to use her for, which was the thing I never wanted to do, which was actually do events. I never wanted to be on the stage. I never wanted to be a New York Times bestseller. I never wanted to be, I never wanted to do lives. Okay, true story. I'm sitting there going, I love doing telesummits. I love doing video summits. I know lead gen's really important, but I feel like I need something bigger. And she goes, well, I want you to start doing live streams. I said, I don't want to do live streams. Like, I don't want to sit, like, I didn't want to do a virtual stage. Anybody like me, yes or no? Come on, right? And so the thing is, your business is not there to necessarily be the thing that makes you happy. Make a lot of money so you can go do the things that make you happy, right? Like, it's amazing to rent a yacht in the south of France. In fact, my friend Suzanne and I were actually just talking about our sons are so beautiful that maybe we should move to the south of France, put them in modeling so that they can retire us because they are that beautiful, these young boys, right? And so my point is when you have a lot of money, it solves a lot of problems. Do you guys get that? And it's a thing that a lot of people have a lot of shame around. It's a thing that I have no shame around. I've been judged because I talk about money, but at the end of the day, money touches everything you love. It touches your healthcare. It touches the ability to fly first class and be comfortable, not jet lagged when you get to your destination, so you can spend time with your mom, your dad, your kids, whatever. It touches absolutely everything. And it also touches the nonprofits that you bless and the politicians that you want to back, whatever it looks like. There's just not a lot getting done if you can't get into the right rooms. Getting into the right rooms also means that you need to learn how to build your own stages. And whether it's a virtual stage or a live stage, I'm going to tell you, you can go from making 30,000, 20,000 or no dollars in a year to making 6 figures in a weekend. Who's excited about that? Who's excited about that? Put me in the comment section. Now, I'm going to watch the chat. We're on YouTube. We're in a Facebook group. We're on a Facebook page right now. And you guys on Zoom were the superstars that came in, which is hilarious because there's almost 600 of you and there's 130 of you that actually showed up live, right? So this is a great example on how many people miss the endurance of business and they quit too soon. Okay, so I didn't quit on my coach because I had not used her yet. I got my 6-figure first stage, which was the first stage. Then I got my 7-figure. Then I got my multiple 7-figure. And now I have peace of mind. And if I wouldn't have stepped up and did this, or I would have left my coach because I thought I wasn't ready because my emotions weren't ready. It wasn't that I wasn't ready, my emotions were not ready. And so I'm sharing the stage with a good friend of mine today. She's going to show you how to build a stage. I don't care what thoughts you have about what amount of money you've made in a year. I promise you, you can make well, I can't give you an income claim. You guys get that, right? But imagine if you could take your income goal. Everybody write down your income goal for the year. Write it down on a piece of paper right now. Just do it. Don't be lazy. Just do it. Write down your income goal for the year. Seriously. I made my first $1 million with this woman because we went to Africa. We actually saw the picture last night. Went to Africa together and we volunteered. And I realized how much entitlement in my emotions of working needed to go. Like this idea like balance is going to give you freedom. No, make a lot of money and go on a vacation and book as many as you need in the year to be able to be a good person. In other words, work your you know what off and then plan your rest time. So I'm going to share the stage with her. I want you to take that year-long income. I want you to plaster it up on a wall. And I want you to know what's about to be spoken to you is going to break something off you today. And what you're about to hear can be the thing or the vehicle that has you make that in a weekend and blow all those demonic thoughts out of your head that says that it needs to take so much longer to build this business and will it work? So all that said, if you're just new to what we're doing this week, which is really showing people how to fill events, how to talk to volumes of people versus one-offs, today's going to be about how to build a stage and how to have your 6-figure, 7-figure stage, how to run a profitable event, because it sucks to have crickets. Anybody have crickets? No engagement? Nobody shows up? Yeah, let's say goodbye to that right now. Let's just set that intention right now. Okay, so if you're brand new and you haven't been following us this week, go binge watch all of this week. It's on our Facebook page, so go binge watch it because we will take it down because we're actually going to make it a course afterwards. All right, my dear friend Suzanne Evans, she was literally a secretary, talk about not seeing a way out, and she became a New York Times bestseller. And she may or may not love me to say this, but I don't think Suzanne was born to necessarily be an author. She understood what it took to be able to land a message to a group of people, enough people at a time to create a movement. She often says, stop marketing and create a movement. This woman is incredible. Her heart's incredible. I look at people who teach story timing and event building out there, and they don't hold a candle to her because she's so authentic and teaches you how to read a stage and how to actually move people out of marketing into a movement. She did become a New York Times bestseller. She has a whole marketing plan to that's off the charts. And I promise you, you're in such good hands. I couldn't think of another person in the industry that could show you how to do this better. So can I welcome Suzanne Evans to the virtual stage? Yay!
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So good. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Suzanne. Okay. Being such a great friend. Today, Suzanne and I both coach each other. That's what happens when you become a success story of your top coaches and mentors. We're super good friends. We'll be friends for life. We've got each other's back. In a globe and a world that's happening right now, your friends are the most valuable thing, but money gets you into the right rooms. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Suzanne.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to go. Shanda's the biggest pain in the ass. She has asked me to do something in 30 minutes that you really need, like minimum 3 hours and 3 days. So get your pen and paper, shake your pen in my face, shake it, shake it, shake it. Let's roll, let's roll, let's roll. And if you want to know how to make more money in 3 days than you have actually ever made in a year, put hell yeah in the chat and let's roll. I want to see hell yes. I want to see it rolling. I'm going to make you work this morning. Let's go. So here's the deal. Everybody on here offers something, you share something, you teach something, you're an expert in something, right? You want to help change people, transform people, right? So put in the chat right now, what is the thing you change? What's the thing you transform? Let me see it so I get to know who is in here. And then I'm going to show you and tell you exactly how an event needs to happen. So media landscape, health, people's health, mindset, lifestyle, divorce, negativity, confidence, writing, absolutely. So here's the deal. And I want you to look me straight in the eyes when I tell you this. You have a moral obligation to do events. If you truly sit here today and you say, I help people get out of their own way, I help people have a career they love, I'm going to help people get off of diabetes medication, I'm going to help people feel better, I'm going to help people make more money, then you have a moral obligation to hold events, host events, and do that. Isaiah 6:8. Isaiah 6:8. Here I am, use me. Here I am, send me. Here I am, send me. And that's exactly what an event does. I'm going to give you 3 quick examples, and then I'm going to break down as quick as I can how you can build an event. You can do it easily, you can do it quickly, and you don't have to have, I know you're building your list here and you're expanding your database and you're getting in the right rooms, but you can be in a beginning stage and make this work. So Erica, client of mine, this was just 3 months ago, never done an event before, never even thought about doing an event before, did an event just sitting in her home like we're doing right now on Zoom. Very simple, about 65-ish people attended. She did $267,000 in revenue in 3 days. Come on, amen. Can I get an amen? Rick, now he went to a studio. He did a virtual event, and he actually used a studio, and he made his, not just kind of Zooming from home. He had about 48 people in the room and did almost $400,000 in a 3-day event. This was just 3 weeks ago. I did an event about 6 weeks ago. It was in person. It was a small hotel ballroom. It was 18 people. Write that number down. 18 people. I'm going to make you do some math this morning, folks. 18 people, $427,000 in revenue. Folks, you're working too hard. You're making this too complicated. You're thinking that you need to spend all year to make your revenue, and you can do it in 3 days. So how do you do that, and how do you put events together? So I want you to write DREAM down, DREAM. And these are the elements you need for building out an event. So when I'm talking about events, it can be an in-person event. It can be a virtual event, but I am not just talking about a webinar. It's different than hosting a live stream or a webinar. And what makes it different? A live stream or a webinar tends to be that you're putting people on and you're teaching content to some form of call to action. What makes an event different? You're creating an arc, an experience, and you are creating an environment in which people are a part of a journey or a part of something for multiple days that builds community, that then what you offer an opportunity or an invitation, right? They are very different. A webinar is not an event, and webinars are amazing. You can get great results, but it doesn't get you the same results as an event. So dream. Here's the pieces that you need to put in place for an event. The D is for disrupt. I'm going to tell you what they are, and then we're going to walk through all of them. The D is for disrupt. The R is for room to community. Room to community. Thank you so much, Hardcore, wonderful team, for putting this in there for everybody. The E is for educate. The A is for ask, and the M is for motivate. So disrupt, room to community, educate, ask, motivate. That is pretty much the pieces and the art of putting together an event. Now, let me just point out a couple of things. One thing I want to share is that a lot of people, and this may be you, they think about events being this thing where they're like, okay, I do an event and I share content, and then I have to figure out how to do an offer, right? And there's this moment for an offer and an ask. Would just put yes if you're like, yeah, that's how I've seen 3-day events. That's how I would think about it. And I'm worried about my content, and I'm worried about my offer, and how do you put all of that together, right? That's total bullshit. That isn't how you do an event, and that makes it hard. The way you do an event is that if you do an event correctly and you follow this dream formula, you don't even really make an invitation. I mean, you don't even really make an offer. There's a moment where you make an invitation, but everybody thinks in a 3-day model that there's a 3-day model and then there's a sales moment. No, You don't have to have a sales moment if you do, right, the formula correctly. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Disrupt. So one of the things that you have to realize, this is a writer downer, we're living in an attention economy. If you can't get my attention, you will never get me as a client. That's a writer downer. If you cannot get my attention, you will never get me as a client. Everybody do this. Do this on your head right here. Go like this. So here's the deal. We all own a certain type of mental real estate. We have a certain amount of mental real estate. I have one job in the marketing world, the marketing universe, and that is to grab as much of Chantel and Rocco and Esteban and Michael's mental real estate as I can. I need to own as much possible mental real estate as I can of you. So when you hold an event, you have to come in with your point of view. Why are you different? How are you different? How do you see things different? I can tell you the topic I'm talking about today is events, and I teach events, teaches it. Why do I teach it different? Because most people teach it from a sales scenario, and I teach events from an entertainment and service scenario. Which sounds like more fun? Would you rather be sold to, or would you rather hear a story, right? How many of you woke up this morning and you said, you know what? I hope somebody sells me some shit. Oh my God, I hope today is a day where a bunch of people just sell me stuff. No, nobody wants that. We all like to buy things, but nobody wants to live that way. But I guarantee you, wanting to look at your day from a standpoint of how can I, I'm a huge college basketball fan, and Jimmy Valvano was an NC State basketball coach was really famous. If you're a sports person, he gave a famous ESPY speech. And in that speech, he said, every day of your life, laugh a little, cry a little, feel a little, fight a little. And that's how you want your day to go. I mean, would that not kind of be the perfect day to laugh a little, cry a little, feel a little, fight a little, right? Like stand for something. And so that's how you have to come into an event. You have to disrupt the mindset of your people. I'm telling you what I'm doing right now. And Shanda would be giving me kudos and hell yes for doing it. This is no longer Shanda's stage. I'm respectful of Shanda. I'm so delighted she asked me here. I'm so appreciative. And this is her house, if you will. But did you see how I came in and I did me? I did me. I did Suzanne. I'm here to disrupt you. I am here to take wherever you are, whatever has gone on for you this morning, and say, eyes on this subject, eyes on what we're talking about. If you don't learn to get attention and disrupt rooms and stages and places, you can never hold the attention of people. And disruption is one of the key factors in actually making invitations that you're not being salesy and you're not having to hit people over the head with a sales hammer. So our room to community. Here's how I want you to think about when you do an event. Whether it's an in-person event or it's a virtual event. You have a room of people. My job right now, in the limited amount of time I have, if this were an event, is to turn this from a room to a community. Does that make sense, everybody? I want Natalie to be concerned about Deborah. I want Deborah to be desperate to ask Susan a question. I want Susan to go, I just want to lift up Catherine. And I want Catherine to go, what the hell is Tracy talking about? Oh my gosh, we gotta reach out to her. That's what you have to create. Now, how do you create that? I'm gonna give you a few, I sometimes spend 2 days teaching how to move a room to community. That's what Shanda was talking about when she said I teach how to kind of read a room and how to do that. There's a lot of ways you can do that. You wanna do that with interaction. You wanna do that as, this is a writer downer. Stop telling me stories and start telling we stories. Let me say that again. Stop telling me stories and start telling we stories. When you start off your event with, so my life was really hard and I had cancer and I got laid off from my job, I can be the most empathetic, generous person in the world. And I'm thinking, God, Sarah, you're lovely and I don't care. Because I got my own problems. I got 99 problems, right, Tanya? Right, Teresa? I don't care about your problems. You seem like a lovely person. Coach Dietrich, but I don't give a shit about your problems. What about me? What about me? What about me? And we're humans, and that's how we're walking through the world. So how do you tell universal stories? I'll quickly show you an example of this. Raise your hand if you have children. If you have children, just shake your hand at the camera. Okay. Raise your hand if you've made a conscious decision not to have children. You made a conscious decision not to have, okay, I'm seeing like Teresa. First of all, let's give Teresa and Tanya, these people, a hand. They are nailing it in life. They got all the money, they got all the time, right? They got everything. Now raise your hand and shake it in the camera if you were a child at one point, right? So we all can relate to having children or being a child, right? And we all know something happens in the spring of every single year when you are a child or you have a child. Recitals, dance recitals, music recital. Okay, I then go in and tell this whole story about recitals. Everybody's with me, everybody's laughing because everybody's had some version of that experience. I'm now the story, I'm in the story, but the story isn't about me, it's about we. Does this make sense, everybody? So you got to stop telling me stories. That's a simple little example, but you got to stop telling me stories and start telling we stories. That's one example of how to turn the room to community. You want to have exercises, you want to do breakouts, you want to give people an opportunity to partner up, whether you're in person or virtual, and you want to immediately turn it to community. Educate. Only way I know how to tell you this is, I'll read 300 books a year. And I look at you right now and say, how many books did you read on your topic this year? And when I say read, if you're, reading can be a challenge for you, it can be hard. So you can listen to a book on audio, you can do whatever, but nobody knows more about my stuff than me. And you know why that is? Because I make it so. If I'm going to walk out here today and Shanda is going to put me in a position of influence where she says, y'all, this woman knows marketing, she knows events, I'm going to make damn sure I know more than anybody else. And so I read 300 books a year minimum, usually. I listen to probably 10 podcasts a week. I read 20 to 30 periodicals before I ever get my day going. And you got to realize I homeschool a 6-year-old myself. It's not jobbed out. It's not with a tutor. Actually, Shannon and I were texting this morning and I sent her a picture. I said, I'm wrapping up homeschool. I'm able to do it because, and Shanda's the best at this. She'll teach you about priorities and she'll teach you how to get it done. But you've got to know your stuff and you don't just want to be a lecturer. Nobody cares about your content. Write that down. Nobody cares about your content. Content is the easiest thing to access in the world. For any of you who are a health coach, I can get better, faster, more comprehensive information with a Google search than I can waiting 2 weeks for you to tell me everything. So then what's the point of your content? It better come through the lens of you. How does low carb or no carb or whatever, how does it come through the lens of you? How do you make it unique? How do you make it different? How do your stories make it apply to me in a different way? And you better make it entertaining. You better make me feel something, right? Nobody wants to go to school. Stephen King said, nobody wants to learn anything. And I can prove it. If they did, textbooks would be bestsellers, right? We want to be entertained. We want to feel something. And so in your education, I like to say, make everybody a chocolate cake. And when they devour it and tell you how delicious it is, say, it was an avocado and broccoli puree. That was like the basis of it, right? Get the broccoli in the chocolate cake. Okay, ask. So this is the offer piece. So I'm going to spend a few minutes on this because I know everybody's like, what about the offer? So here's another little tip. Let me give you a tip here. A 3-day event, typically, each day is going to have a theme, right? It's going to have a theme. Each day is going to have a theme. Here's what I suggest is your theme. Now, you'll use different words for this and you'll use different language for this, but day one is about community. So how can you build community? How can you teach community? How can you teach people to be a part of a community? How can you teach people to find their community? So if you're I'm going back to the health coach, day one might be about like, how do you see yourself in the world? And what world do you want to be in? And what is the support and people that you want to surround yourself with? And how are you feeling right now? And where do you feel like you do fit in and you don't fit in? And what's happening for you? It's really the emotional piece and the community piece is typically day one, right? Day two is typically content, action, and expertise. Like this is the nitty gritty. This is the nuts and bolts of what you do, how you do it, and how people go from a pain to a solution, right? And day three is about commitment. So how do you commit to yourself? How do you commit to what I've taught here? How do you put it into action? How do you make it happen? Everybody take a nice deep breath in. I am totally aware I'm a freight train. I have since I came out of the womb. I don't mean to be running over you. Is this helpful? Can you just give me a yes in the chat if I'm making sense? I know I'm moving fast. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So that's kind of the arc of your 3 days. So now we're into the offer, right? We're into the offer. So let me remind you of a couple of things. Reminder number one, the sale should have happened before the offer is ever made. If you are setting up disruption, right? If you were setting up room to community, we want to be together. We want to be a part of this. We are a part of something bigger. Stop marketing and start a movement, right? And then you have given great content and information and you have allowed people to see like there is light at the end of the tunnel. I can do this. I can change this. I can be this. I can have this. Then really your offer is just information, right? It's not some big sales pitch or some big sales moment, right? Here's something I'll say about that. Here's my definition of sales, and I think you're going to want to write this down. So I selling from the stage. This is about my 12th and a half. We'll call it 13th year in business, and selling from the stage. Not any of the other marketing things that we do as a company. I've done about $62 million selling from the stage. I've done about $62 million selling from the stage, and I've never sold anything. I've never sold anything. People come to me all the time and they're like, oh my gosh, your sales. I'm like, I'm a storyteller. I'm a storyteller, I'm a connector, and I'm a truth teller. And if you do that and you do it in events in the way that I'm sharing with you, you don't have to sell anything. So here's my definition of sales. My definition of sales is the transference of inspiration. So here's my job. So how many of you would agree with the fact, I know all of you are going to have different ideas of sales and different thoughts around definitions of sales, and that's totally cool. But how many of you think like sales is bringing somebody into something? That's kind of in essence a generic definition. Just put yep or yes in the chat if you're like, sales is bringing somebody into something, right? Bringing them into an opportunity, bringing them into a change, bringing them into a transformation, right? I think that's how most people think about sales. The moment you think about bringing somebody into something, that means I'm bringing you in. I got to get you in. I got to make you do something. I got to do something that gets you to open the door. I got to push you through the door. Stop it. I want you to think about an event as this way. Create an environment, create an experience, create a community that is so inspiring that you make an invitation to continue and people in the room go, oh shit, if I say no to this, it means I have to leave. If I say no to this, it means I don't get to stay in this room, in this world with these people. If I say no to this, where does Suzanne go or where does Shanda go next Wednesday morning? I am in such a place right now. I'm having such an experience right now. Isaiah 6:8, here I am, use me, that if I choose to walk away from this experience, I may not get what I want. I may not be who I want to be. I may not be able to keep this high vibration going. So I want you to start thinking about I want you to start thinking about, instead of bringing people into something, creating something so extraordinary, so amazing, so captivating, so inspirational, that when you make an invitation, an awareness comes over people that if they don't stay, they have to leave. Does this make sense, everybody? Do you see the difference this gives you when you're in an event? And this is what Shanda does. This is exactly what she does. This is what she creates at her events. This is what happens. And it's beautiful and it's graceful and it's inspirational and it's incredible. And you're not pulling people in. You are just simply creating something that people don't want to walk away from. Right? So what does that offer look like? Right? Usually on that day 2 in the afternoon is where you want to make your offer. And you want to have case studies before that, some form of testimonials or case studies. And you want those people, right? You want those people to I always say that there gets a time in every event where you become Charlie Brown's teacher. They're like, we love you, Suzanne, and we have heard a lot from you, right? So it's refreshing to hear from other people. And also people want to find themselves in other people. So when you choose a success panel, you can call it a success panel, a testimonial panel, a case study panel. You want to choose people that you know the audience could see themselves in. So I love to choose a variety of people, some people who had incredible money growth, some people who had incredible personal growth, people who started at 0 and made a huge leap, people who came to me already making a couple of $100,000 and make a big leap. So you want to have a group of people who can edify the room. Remember, it's a we story, not a me story, right? And then after that, you want an incredible transition. So here's how most people deliver offers. Maybe they have a success panel, the success panel ends, and they've been delivering great content for 2 days, and they're like, oh my gosh, weren't these people amazing? This is so awesome. I just love my clients. They're incredible. So let me talk to you about my program. And you're like, what just happened? Like, I was having a normal human experience with this really cool chick, and now she's turned into a weirdo, and I think she's going to make me an offer. Here's how you transition in things. You have a success panel, you do something, you tell a story. Stories are always your bridge. They're the connective tissue between the bone and the muscle, right? So your stories are always your bridge. So maybe you have your success panel and then you want to plug in a great story. You want to, you want to share something that, yeah, somebody said, I have seen this happen so many times. Like, it's so relatable to see the weirdness that happens, right? When a pitch is about to happen. You want to have a great story that becomes connective tissue. And then it's very simple. Don't overthink this. It is benefits. Get ready to write this down. Benefits, features, who is this for? Who is this not for? Value, price drop for people in the room today, and motivating bonuses. Motivate, something that gets people to say yes now. And that goes into actually the last part of Dream, my very last M here on the motivate, which is after you make that offer, after you make that ask, right? You have to motivate people. Why do you have to motivate people? Because we're humans, and that means we're lazy. And we will not do anything today that we believe we can do tomorrow, right? So you want to give people, I like to look at bonuses in 2 ways. One, it's a get you off your butt and go. But the second way I like to look at it is, I'm the person who loves the dingle dangle. And what I mean is, like, I get the value of what you do and why I may want to do that and get a result from it. But when you add like a free pair of diamond earrings, I'm like, well, shit, I love that. Because as humans, we also love stuff. We love valuable, cool things that we didn't expect. So that's the motivator piece. And then the very final piece of that is, make sure the remainder of your event is motivating people to make a decision that is in the best interest of them doing God's work. Let me say that again. The last part of that is, you are motivating people for the rest of the event because you've made the offer and you've shared it, to supporting people, to making the best decision, whether that's a yes or a no for them. in their ability to move forward in doing God's work. I could talk about this for 7 days, but my time is up because Shanda's a real jerk. Make me do something in 30 minutes that is hard to do in 30 minutes. And I hope that was what you wanted, Shanda.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's so great is how many of you guys would love to see Suzanne make an offer? How many of you guys go in the chat? Bring me up with Suzanne, please. How many of you guys would love to see Suzanne make an offer? So, okay, so I remember, okay, it took me 3 years to ever take a stage, right? So I want you guys to hear this, okay? For everybody who's sitting in a seat saying, oh my gosh, what she just did, I could never do. I couldn't do a presentation like that. If you're already in that comparison mode, who's in that? Who's in that comparison mode? Put a C in the comment section, okay? Who's in that comparison mode? Okay, so I remember sitting in an event, it was live in a room. All week, if you haven't been on this, you need to go back. I taught a bring a friend challenge. I really do think I'm the best at it. We make multiple millions of dollars of having people come into our room that is brought through our friends or our clients. It's an 8-week program. We started teaching on Monday. So go back and binge watch that, okay? However, when I got to the room, that was where I'd freak out. And so I remember sitting in a room with Suzanne. She's like, okay, Shanda, you're up next after this person. I went to the bathroom, my friends, and I seriously considered not coming out. Like I seriously was like, oh my God, everybody, can you guys feel my butterflies in my stomach? Can any of you guys feel that? The butterflies in the stomach that I probably was feeling, I definitely was. I was going, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna puke. This sucks. This is the worst day of my life and the best day of my life because I can choose to not stay in the bathroom, go back on that stage and just do my best. And if I could just do my best, somebody could actually give me good coaching. So when you're trying to be somebody else, you're not taking any bridge over to the owning your own stages. And you're owning your own stage with your children. You're owning your own stage with your mentors. Your mentors are paying attention to you because of the way that you're showing up. You're owning your own stage with your spouses. You're owning your own stage if you're in the dating world. You're owning your own stage if you're in business. And if you don't know how to move a room or a person, you got a problem. So I want to ask you right now, how many of you guys want to own your own stage? Put me in the comment section. Put me in the comment section. Who's ready to do this? Okay, so don't take 3 years to do this if you haven't done it yet. And if you're already doing it, I could almost guarantee that there were things you heard just now that you could have done it better. So here's what I know for sure. At this point, you know who I am, correct? Yes? You know if I can help you get across the line. You know if Suzanne can help you get across the line. True story, Suzanne and I were saying, gosh, if we could just do an event together, they would have everything they need. Like no joke at all. How many of you guys know somebody like that? If you could joint partner with someone, your client base, whether that's in love or in fitness or whatever, if you could actually partner with somebody that knew that other part, like so much better than you, right? And so it's like, I fill rooms, Suzanne rocks rooms, we both fill rooms, we both rock rooms. But when you put us together, there's something super magical that happens. There's something super prophetic that happens. So here's the deal. You know if we can help you, you know if you need help. What I know for sure is if you want to go to the next level, you're not doing it alone. None of us do. Yesterday, I made an opportunity where Suzanne, actually, you don't even know this, I actually put our entire mastermind on sale for $2,500. They could go for 6 months. It's just the right thing to do right now. There's 6 months where you can be coached by us for $2,500. Okay, so this is a $12,000 or a $15,000 program. What you get in it, I'll just share real quick. The invitation is still open today, but I want to ask Suzanne to throw something in that is going to rock your world. I'm going to ask her in 2 seconds. Number one is every month you get 3 mentor calls. Those mentor calls are by me. They're by my friend Rex Crane, who is the coach for Callaway Golf, lots of Fortune 100, Fortune 50 companies. If he can get those executives to show up and build something without the CEO, he can teach you how to show up and build something by yourself and then build out a team so you're not the only one doing it. Who's with me? $15 a month, I have an 8-figure company. Okay, before COVID, I had 87 live events on the books. Hear what I'm saying? Yes?
Amanda, you froze. You should repeat the last sentence. You froze for everybody.
Okay, so before COVID, I had 87 live events on the books. I work 15 days a month and do 8 figures a year. Take that in. I guarantee you I can show you a little something about how to do it better and also be able to have a flex time. So the last week of the month I take off. So the way that I can take you to your next finish line is I coach you 3 times a month, myself, Rex, and Ash. We have 6 sales trainings a month. It's called the club. Ash teaches this. We do call reviews, which means we'll go over your calls with you, we'll role play with you, but we teach you everything we teach our sales team. So as messaging changes, as seasons change, as COVID hit, as COVID went away, as whatever comes next, messaging has to change. If you don't change your messaging in a recession, you'll go broke, right? So it has to change. I had to stop selling like money and freedom when COVID hit, and I started selling take action. Do you know how to do that? You need to know how to do that. My sales team needs to know how to do that. You need to know how to do that. So we do 6 selling calls every single month. In addition, we'll show you how to build an email and text message list so you can fill the room. And if you don't want to fill a room, you don't have to fill a room, but it's a great way to talk to volumes of people. We will be teaching this November 28th, 29th, and 30th. That'll be the last one of the year. It's virtual. You don't have to leave the comforts of your pajamas in your own house, but you need to be with me on those dates, okay? In addition, Suzanne, I've now put something together called Hardcore World, and it's 10-minute trainings because guess what? You all don't like to pay attention. I mean, I feel bad I don't have ADHD because I don't. I actually feel like there's something wrong with me because every great entrepreneur has ADHD. But I do know if you don't have it, you still don't like to study home study programs. So we have, how do you cash inject with customers? You're gonna need that. How do you cash inject without customers or clients if your business has just started? How do you create a flagship product? All that's done in 10-minute trainings, right? The flagship product in 20 minutes, 2 10-minute trainings. I can show you how to have a course that, or you can go hire somebody for $2,500 for just figuring out that piece, or I'll show you how to do it in 20 minutes. You don't need all the fluff. You guys tired of the fluff? Put F in the comment section if you're tired of the fluff. Put F in the comment section. You should be. There ain't no time left. It's time to show up right now. So we do 10-minute trainings in Hardcore World. We do all of this over the course of a year. It's called Mentor Me Live. And I'm currently mentoring in it live. I won't be forever. You've got me for this year. I have not trained on our platform for years because the truth is the best coaches and mentors, they just don't train in their programs anymore. The reason why I am is because there's so much wealth transferring right now. I want to help you get a piece of that. So all of this to say is you could go to joinmentormelive.com. If you guys could put up that link and drop it in the chats. Joinmentormelive.com, just like it sounds. Joinmentormelive.com. There's 2 options. Option number 1 is $2,500 for 6 months. Plus, I will give you 2 one-on-one coaching sessions, not with me, but with one of my coaches. Now, my coaches are very, very strong. They're very good at what they do. We have coaches that are making 7 figures. We have coaches that are doing $50,000 a month. Like, these are not like just people I pulled off the road. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, these are people who have done our workshops. They're full-blown entrepreneurs. They know how to help you pivot. They're trained by us constantly. They're in our programs, but they're also in our coaching department, and they're paid coaches, and they're very good at what they do. So these guys, so $2,500 is option 1 on joinmentormelive.com. If you don't need speed, and some of you guys don't, that's acceleration. Option 1 is the accelerated package. That gives you 2 one-on-one coaching sessions. It's like some of you guys just know that you're ready to pop. If you need to pop, put P-O-P in the comment section. You're ready to pop. Like, this is your time. Okay, so take the accelerated package if that's the case. If you're like, I just need a payment plan. I need, Shanda, I need you to be the bank, right? If you're in that position, I have an option number 2, and the option number 2 is a 3-pay. It's a 3-pay for $895, 3 payments at $895. I'll be with you for literally half a year. If you want to stay, you're welcome to stay, but you got half a year. Test drive us. Let's get you in the money. Let's put you in a position where your company's rocking it. Now, in all of this, we have a mastermind coming up in Tampa. If you can't come to this mastermind, and Suzanne, I'm going to pull you back up in a second. If you can't come to this mastermind, you can come to the one in March. This one is in Tampa. It's on November 17th and 18th. The strategy in there is cash flow. There's still enough time to cash inject before the end of the year. We're very, very good at it. My stepdad calls me the cash queen. Okay, so we're very, very good at this. So whether you have customers or you don't have customers, we are focusing on cash flow in that workshop. It is in Tampa, it is live, it is not streamed because your butts will not get out of your house if I stream it. However, I will give you the recording. So Suzanne, I'm gonna pull you back up here. Pull Suzanne back up here. So my question is, Suzanne, with all of this, would you show them how to speak?
I will absolutely show them how to speak. I want to say one thing before I tell you what I'm going to give. I want you to know this is $13 a day, what she's just told you.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to know this is $13 a day, and I want you to take a second. And if you are not stepping into this because of the money, you don't have a money problem. You don't have a money problem. You absolutely have a faith problem. This is not a money problem. This is a faith problem. And you actually need to ask yourself, should I do business? It's not a question of should I do this program? Should I step into this mastermind? It's a question of should I be in business? Because if you can't put enough faith in yourself for $13 a day, there's an issue there, and it's going to be an issue to ever get a single client. So I just wanted to point that out. That is a latte and a dirty ass blueberry muffin. That is literally what it is, right? We're always dropping $9, $11 on that. So if you can't faith your way for $13 a day, right? You got to think about what you're doing. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
No, it's great. Great point.
Yeah. Yes, of course I'll teach them how to speak, because here's the deal. You can't get money if you can't get attention. And not only that, here's the other thing I'm going to say. Take this in, take it in. You cannot learn confidence. It's not a learnable skill. You can only unlearn embarrassment. So what does training on speaking, what does knowing how to storytell, what does knowing how to speak in front of people do? It unlearns embarrassment. And when you unlearn embarrassment, you are unstoppable. And when you are unstoppable, you have ultimate freedom. And when you have freedom, you will always make all the money you ever want to make. So absolutely, I will teach them to speak.
Okay, so tell them what that will look like.
So that's going to look like, I'm going to gift you. Let me just say, I have 801 people registered for this event, and they all paid $67 to $197 for this. Every single one of them. Shanda, who will voice memo you until you just crumble under the pressure, asked me to give you this for free if you join her mastermind. If you join her mastermind, you're getting a free ticket to my event, Captivate, where it's a 3-day, I teach you to speak. That's what we do. And I teach you to translate it to other platforms, just like Shanda was saying. Translate the speaking to a virtual stage, to an in-person stage, to social. We got 2 million views on TikTok 2 weeks ago. Why? Because I know how to speak, right? So we're going to show you that. The event is virtual. It's November 16th, 17th, and 18th. It's going to be a part of the boat, right? When they buy, they'll get it in their.
Yep, they're going to get it. So now if you're sitting there going, okay, the mastermind's November 17th, 18th, and so is her event. We both have a next event. So we'll just roll you. So if you need cash flow, you can come here. If you're like, I could actually get on a stage right now, or I got some social media people, or I've got, a local stage I want to hit, go to hers. Like, we don't care where you go. You know where you need to go. We got you either which decision you make, but don't sit there and confuse you, make a decision. Now, I like 20-minute bonuses. So I messaged Suzanne just before we jumped on, and I said, Suzanne, will you give this thing that I got, that I paid $25,000 for? And that thing was, how did she become a New York Times bestselling author? When, by the way, with love, Suzanne, being an author was not exactly what you were born to do. You created a book.
I cannot write. I'm a speaker, not a writer.
Exactly. So she created a marketing plan, and she knows how to actually create a New York Times bestseller. So Suzanne, 20-minute bonus. Fadi's going to put up the $20, the 20 minutes up on the screen. You guys, some of you guys need to take a whole night to process. Don't do that. Okay? Because that's why the rich.
Wait. Indecision. indecision is a form of self-abuse.
So true. It is. 100% it is. 100% it is. Okay, so will you throw in a bonus where people
I will.
Okay,
I
talk about
absolutely will. I will walk you through. This was my book that became a New York Times bestseller. I will walk you through exactly how I did it, because I was not the traditional path to this was anyway, I wasn't the traditional path to selling a book, having a big publishing house, push your book. And I will show you exactly how I did it. Even if you don't want to be a New York Times bestseller, you could use this exact same model to fill a program, right, Shanda? Or to
Yeah.
right? Or to launch something. So I will walk you through that. So you can come to this event or the next event. And for the next 20 minutes, if you join, and I'm assuming people are saying if they joined yesterday, will they get it too? They're freaking out.
Yes, if you joined on the 20 minutes yesterday, if you joined on the 20 minutes, oh, screw it. If you joined yesterday and you jumped in, I'm going to give it all to you on the 20-minute bonus, but I'm not giving this after the 20 minutes. So everybody who piles in right now, join mentormelive.com. You can look at that. Anybody who jumps in right now, before that 18-minute clock is over, into join mentormelive.com. I'll give you the 20-minute bonus. And by the way, if you're also a client of mine in Mentor Me Live already, I'll give it to you too. Okay. So we like it. Yes. Okay.
Awesome.
So, and she didn't know how to do that, right? So I paid $25,000 to be able to do that. I literally thought this would hook these guys up. And how do we create as many safety nets as possible to really deal with your emotional insecurities, so that no matter what, if you take any of these and push it forward, you're going to rock. I'll show you how to build the list. I'll show you how to convert that list. She'll show you how to speak on a stage. We'll show you how to literally take a book and become either a New York Times bestseller or just turn it into a product or a service. It doesn't matter if you're network marketing, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a gardener, if you're homeschooling, whatever, you've got a skill that the world needs. And I'm going to tell you that today's the day that if you haven't started a business, you need to start it. And if you're already in business, you need to go the next level and hire people. Like, it is really your responsibility to hire people. And there's a huge, great talent pool out there right now because so many people are getting laid off. So don't wait until.
And remember, Shanda, I started my business working a 60-hour week day job. So if right now you're like, I don't know how I'd find the time, I call total BS. You find the time for the level of freedom you want. That's a writer down. You will find the time. And Shanda's made it so easy. It's like 10-minute little hits. So it's like super easy. And you got 17 minutes to make the best decision of your life, so you never have to worry about money again.
So good. Okay, so let's wrap up on this, Suzanne. I want to ask you a question. As you're
Don't make me give something else away.
I think we gave away so much. It's almost like, it's like if they even just walk through that and focused on one at a time, that would be enough for a whole year plan. That you would know that you're on the right path, because you guys know this, right? So half the challenge is, am I making the right decisions? And another big challenge is there's not that many coaches that are available at Suzanne and my level, and we sit in the rooms, right? It's all about getting in the right rooms. And the reason why is they would rather do just a webinar or an evergreen, something that runs while they sleep, and do other things, birth other, events, birth other books. They want to grow other companies. Like, they already know how to do this thing, and they're keeping themselves interested by going to the next level. So there's just a unique moment that I was able to get Suzanne to jump on. Honestly, you guys who started on Monday with us, which you're not behind if you didn't start on Monday, just go binge that stuff. But my point is that it was this audience that told me we needed her. This was not this was not
y'all. She asked me no, you didn't ask me 24 hours ago. You asked me 12 hours ago, like 15 hours ago. 15 hours ago, she asked me to do this because she said, they're telling me this is what they want. Oh my God, if that doesn't tell you what kind of coach she is and what kind of mentor she is, it's like she's just listening to what you need, and then she goes and grabs wherever she needs to grab from to bring it to you. Wow.
Well, and that's what it takes to be successful. It really does. You've got to be able to pivot for people, not pivot for prosperity. The prosperity will always come if you pivot for people. So I do want to ask you a question. As
Yes.
you're going to the next level in your business and doing what you're doing in your personal life, I do want to ask. I'm sure a lot of people have time conversations. How many guys have time conversations? Put a T in the comment section. How have you figured out your income with being, a present mom and homeschooling your children or your child? How have
Yeah.
you figured that out? Like, how have you constructed your day specifically? More than advice, but actually go in the weeds for a second. Like, how do you actually run your day?
So I homeschool in the morning. So we get up and we homeschool in the morning. And one day a week, I actually I teach two kids. So we have a learning partner. So I do that in the morning and then I move into my workflow. I actually work every day from about 11 to 4 or 4:30. It depends on soccer. It depends on soccer. Right? But so I work about 5-ish hours a day. We obviously we do multiple 7 figures a year plus. And for me, the way that I structure my day is I'm ruthless. I am
Wow.
absolutely ruthless, right? I you know this from back in the day when I coached you, Shannon, I do 15-minute increments. My entire life is built off of 15-minute increments because I do have ADHD. I'm very disciplined, but I am very distracted. So I have to trick my brain into discipline. So the way I trick my brain into discipline is my entire day and life is structured into 15-minute increments. And so I know I can do something for 15 minutes. So I do things for 15 minutes and then I'll have 15 minutes of, off and then 15 minutes on and 15. That's how I write copy. It's how I create. Right now, I'll turn this, right now, I'm creating all the content for my event, doing it in 15-minute increments, right? I'm 15 minutes on, I'm 15 minutes off, I'm 15 minutes on. But when I'm on, nothing comes in the way. Everything is turned down, everything is turned off, and I get it done. And I go to bed every night. This is my rule with less than 5 emails in my inbox. I
Yeah.
never go to bed with more than 5 emails in my inbox. And here's another really quick thing. Every night I write a little list of things that I know I want to get accomplished. It's not really a to-do list. It's more of like an action list. And then as soon as I write the list, I go through it and I only keep 20% of it. So 80% is delegated or destroyed because you can only do 20% of the list. So you either get people to delegate it. I say yes to almost everything and then find somebody else to do it for me. That's a little bit of a more advanced strategy if you're just starting out, but I do the list and then 80% of it is delegated or destroyed and I only keep 20%.
So good. And I want everybody to hear this. Like, so often y'all outsource what plans would work for you. And if there's anything I can tell you, it's really important to learn from extraordinary mentors and then take the parts of the plan that really, really work for you and keep innovating things up. Because, I remember learning events because you were my corner. I just knew that I wasn't going to waste a good opportunity to be coached for real and not try and be somebody else. And when you have a good mentor, they see you. And when Suzanne saw me, she gave me some feedback that forever changed my belief system in myself. See, all your belief system will actually hijack your destiny. And because it will have you make bad decisions. It just will. If you don't believe in yourself, and many of you guys have that challenge, and it's normal to walk through that. That's just a door, it's a rite of passage that you have to walk through. But you really do deserve to have a mentor or somebody in your life that will take the intimate time to look at you and to answer your questions and to, at our events like November 17th and 18th, we have easel time in the mornings, which means I'm there, my husband's there, our COO is there, who's from TD Jakes. You know what I mean? Funny enough, you actually introduced me to TD Jakes.
Yep,
She
yep.
studies TD Jakes, she studies preachers for the way that they lead a stage, right? And so actually that's quite interesting. But my point is that when you've got easel time, when you've got face time with good mentors, and that doesn't happen. I mean, I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in my masterminds and there is no easel time. You know what I mean? They're just not. They just expect you to do what they did and figure it out. So I think there's a great pocket here. This is a great offer. I cannot replicate this offer. There is nothing. Stan and I have been talking about doing things together for, I don't know how many years, probably at least 7.
Like once a month for 7 years.
I know, it's crazy. So the fact that the timing worked out, this worked out, she's got something that adds value to your life. I've got something that can take you out of wherever you're at and walk you across the bridge so you stop being a seeker and you become a creator, right? Someone who, whatever you say you're going to do, you're going to follow through and create it. I think we're both really strong mentors, and I just know that you would be safe with us if you gave yourself the opportunity to believe. So go to joinmentormelive.com. We got 9 minutes left before the 20-minute bonus goes away. And I just invite you to just check with your gut. If you think that we could add value and take you across the next finish line, then have enough faith to jump in right now. I'm going to move to VIP on Zoom to work with VIP. Everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow with the last day of really focusing on this week on how do you get people to bring people to your events? How do you get them to introduce them to your products and services? True story, Sarah Blakely with Spanx. I fell in love with her leggings. And before I knew it, I had pallets at my live events of her products and every woman was wearing them. I never asked for $1 for that. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that to you is when your heart turns over to become an evangelist, you can actually lead other evangelists and you start to create this viral effect. So what I've taught all week has nothing to do with paying people to bring you business. It has to do with leading a movement that is very, very easy to lead and create a core group of customers or clients you like and you actually enjoy working with, and they don't leave. Like they stay together, they're loyal. And that's going to be an important factor you're going to see on our platforms. Who is the customer or client? Who is the customer or client that's going to go the distance with you over the next year inside your business as the world is in the financial state that it is, which is good. This is good. Like, don't listen to the news. This is good times. This is free picking. This is harvesting times. And during harvesting times, you want to make sure you're in the right rooms with the leaders that know how to lead through this, because we're going to crush it and you're going to crush it too. Join mentormelive.com. You guys, I'll see you tomorrow as we end this series.